You guys came up in the 90s in terms of making movies and getting in the limelight. Nowadays, you have social media is instant. When people are doing anything, it's on social media, it's being reported. When you guys were in the limelight in the 90s, it was like weekly magazines covering what stars were doing. Do you think you would have been able to, take it back then? This question came out bad, but hopefully you understand what I meant.
No, I totally understand what you're saying. And you're making me think of something that I hadn't thought of before, actually, which is that it makes my job way harder if people intimately know who I just plain am. How are you supposed to believe that I'm somebody else in some other situation, when you know what I had for breakfast this morning and what it sounds like when I laugh really, like, I don't know that's a terrible example. But like people just expose their whole lives on social media, and it's in this pursuit of seeming as transparent and as knowable as possible. And that's really antithetical to what we do. Right?
Yeah, that's a great answer. I mean, I also think that, look, I think both of us would have been fine because neither one of us were like out partying, and it's not the world we grew up in. I mean, that's certainly not the Hollywood I grew up in. Like I still play Dungeons and Dragons. I grew up, playing and doing plays and in drama and going to theater school. So I was never in this space to be sort of a wild man. So I would have been fine in that respect. But and it's also like, it does feel finicky, like who gets found and why you get followed. I don't know if I ever would have been an Addison Rae, who is her own industry. I mean, she's a major industry, and I don't know if I could have ever have done what she does. It's a full-time job.
Yeah, people certainly would not have been interested in any kind of content.
I can't really dance like her either. She's so dance, but I am TikToking. I started at TikTok. Tic-tacking. I'm tic-tacking. Nobody's gonna follow me. This is stupid.
I will.
I keep trying to do. I'll show you. I'm about to TikTok us. Go ahead. Next question as I TikTok.
I am curious what it was like for the two of you, though, when you stepped on set for the first time, making this movie, realizing that you're the parents in this situation when, you know what I mean?
I'm TikToking!
Sorry. He's asking a serious question.
I know. It was
about how mature.
I can't wait to see your answer.
About how mature and grown up we are. So, dang.
This is a two shot.
Are you directing this interview?
Something though, listen, I've been in some very bland and boring interviews. I'll take this every day of the week.
No one's ever accused this man of being boring.
Give it the smart answer. Was it weird going to work the first time?
It was a little
weird.
Were
you scared?
It was a little weird.
Were you nervous?
I think I did feel a little, well, it's also really hard going onto a set after everybody's sort of like in the groove already. You feel like you're sort of like playing in somebody else's yard a little bit. You take a minute to find your footing, see what the set dynamics feel like, make sure you know the exact tone of the movie, et cetera, et cetera. So you always feel like a little bit funny your first day, at least I do.
Sure.
So in that sense, combined with the fact that I was like revisiting something intensely familiar to me, yeah, it was a pretty weird first day on set. But then I realized that I was in a very friendly space, and I think it was a really great experience all in all.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was humbling, right? You're joining a group. I mean, I literally was on the last 3 days of the movie, so it was like being at Thanksgiving dinner and showing up for the pie. I mean, I was like, everyone was like, I'm like, what's happening? Where are the inside jokes? But it was very sweet because I feel like that. The whole cast was super respectful and were earnestly like excited that I was there, had all seen the movie, had all grown up with Scooby-Doo. Like they were very sweet and very like open about, they were gushing about the fact that I was there. So it felt,
hard to be mad at that.
Yeah, it felt like it was humbling, right? And it's such an iconic role in my life, in my career. So to go back for me was sweet. And I actually really cherished it in a weird way. It was fun and humbling.
I'm actually curious, when you guys think back on She's All That, what's like one or two of like the big memories that always comes to like your mind, in terms of making the movie?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I always think about Paul Walker, and God bless his soul, but like it was like his first film, and I have very clear memories of him, Freddie and I, and Dulé sitting there talking and hanging out. So that's one thing that's a sweet memory. And then the dance scene for me was a big piece of my life where I'll walk in and that song will play and like sort of the whole room will like look at me to see if I'm going to do the dance.
I love it.
So it's like, those two pieces of my life. And then my first date with my wife, who I'm still married with like 100 years later, I was in the middle of doing that movie. And so
he had like the fake tattoos all over him and like.
they
all
weren't
the good
fake.
stuff.
I like to go full.
He's real. They're real.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I like to get into my roles. So that's a real tattoo. It says me, and it's pretty badass. I should redraw that. That's what I should TikTok. I should put that on my TikTok
That would be the kid.
and remake that scene.
It would be
We're gonna
huge.
blow this thing up.
We
We're
are.
gonna go. We're going big. Addison Ray, look out. Sorry, what's your memories?
Well, were you there? Yeah, you were there when Usher was there, right?
Ursher.
Usher, right. So like I remember that You Make Me Wanna was the first like CD disc single I had like ever bought. I was like, sure. I was like, is he here? Ooh.
Hello, number one on the call sheet. I don't know if you've seen me.
Yes, I remember
I've been made over.
We were filming the prom scene. And it was like, we were in this gym and there's just way too many like background, people ever. It's really hot back there. And Tamara Mello, who plays like one of my antagonists in the movie, was standing next to me and Usher was next to her and he goes, it's pretty hot in here. And Tamara goes, you should probably take your shirt off. And he did.
No,
Yes.
he did not.
Yeah,
Stop.
it was hot. In there.
Nobody ever says that next to me.
It was hot.
Nobody's ever said, Matt,
It was good.
super hot. Take your shirt off.
Thank you so much.
So far away.
Thank you. You guys.
Freeze and you go just fade to black.
They're going to do it, aren't they?